everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'll be talking about the hard pills to swallow when it comes to budget travel. So what do I mean by hard pills to swallow? So let's say that you want to travel more often, you're seeing everybody online traveling, and you're like, how do they afford to do that? How is that possible? Well, of course, there are many different barriers to travel, which is a complex and nuanced conversation. But the point of this video is just to share some small adjustments I make in my life that helps increase the affordability of my trips. So I'll be sharing those with you in the form of hard pills to swallow. Now, before I jump into those pills, if you have not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button below, hit that notification bell, save and share with your friends and family. It really does help me out here on YouTube. My channel is all about budget travel with a cultural and historical focus. So here I'll be sharing video vlogs or travel vlogs. I'll be sharing tips and tricks on budget travel and just different topics based on my travel experiences. All right, hard pill to swallow number one. You don't need a new outfit, shoes, or hairstyle before every new trip. Now, there was a tweet or some type of online discourse maybe a year ago where people were talking about the cost of prepping for the trip was more expensive than the trip itself. Now, granted that, was a facetious joke, but for the most part, prepping for a trip can be very costly. And I'm speaking from experience, so everything that I'm sharing here, all these hard pills to swallow, are things that I am telling myself and also sharing with you. So I have fallen victim to everything that I'm about to share in this video. I'm not speaking from a paternalistic point of view, just sharing things that I've learned and have adjusted in my life so that I can travel more often. Imagine if you are buying 5 different outfits for each day of your trip, if you are going to spend a ton of money on a hairstyle, on a manicure or pedicure, lash extensions, all those things that I love, by the way. I love a nice pair of lash extensions. However, you have to understand that if you have a big pre-trip budget, that can get in the way of being able to take more trips, right? If you have a finite amount of money in your bank account and your trips are twice the price because you're spending so much money up front buying all of these new things, then that really limits the amount of trips you can take. So as a budget traveler, things that have helped me lower the cost of my pre-trip preparation is all about either doing things on my own and not outsourcing it to someone else, or investing in pieces that are versatile, right? And re-wearable. So I'll talk about the whole wardrobe thing. So investing in a capsule wardrobe or, signature pieces that you can mix and match to create different outfits, or different types of clothes that are neutral that you can wear in different destinations across the world will really help you lower the cost of the preparation, because you see that you have nice pieces that you can take with you. And of course, you'll have to have, a signature wardrobe for warm climates or beachy climates, signature wardrobes or pieces for cities or the mountains or places where it may be more cold. But I recommend buying clothes that are neutrally colored. So I love bright clothes, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you should not wear a beautiful turquoise dress or like a hot pink shirt. I have all those things in my wardrobe, but I've noticed that when I pack neutral colors, then I've been more comfortable going out in different places, and they're more versatile. They can be applied to all kinds of different, sceneries and landscapes and just different travel backdrops. Another reason why it's a good idea to invest in staple pieces is that it allows you to mix and match so that you can create different outfits. So investing in high quality pairs of jeans, maybe in a medium brown wash or like a black wash, just different colors that you can mix and match with like different tops, different sweaters, different flowy dresses if you're going to a warm climate. Shoes is a big one. So I tend not to pack a lot of shoes. I've heard of some travelers who have a whole suitcase just for shoes. To me, that is absurd and it's kind of mind-blowing, because I just pack one pair of sneakers that are versatile, a pair of sandals that are versatile, and perhaps one pair of high-heeled sandals or high heels for dressy occasions. So that's already 3 shoes that, again, depending on where you're going, if you're not going to really extreme places like the Arctic, can pretty much get you everywhere. Second thing I recommend when it comes to that specific pill is learning how to do your own preparation instead of outsourcing it to people. This is not to say that we should not support professionals in their field, but again, for someone who tries to travel every month, I just can't afford to pay someone to do my hair and my lashes and my nails and a wax every single time. Hard pill to swallow number 2. You really only need a carry-on. This pill goes back to pill number 1. If you are investing in a capsule wardrobe and you are packing versatile clothes and shoes, then you really just need a carry-on because you're not bringing so many clothes and shoes that you need a large suitcase. Now, let's say you're gone for a really long trip and your access to laundry is limited, then obviously by all means, bring enough clothes to last you your trip. In that case, a large check suitcase is perfectly fine. For me, let's say I see a trip as 2 weeks or under, absolutely, I can do a carry-on. You can absolutely fit 2 weeks worth of clothes without washing them in a carry-on. Things I recommend to help you pack in a carry-on are vacuum sealed bags or packing cubes. I personally use vacuum sealed bags. They have allowed me to pack up to 3-4 weeks of clothes in a carry-on. And I know many other people who use the packing cubes and really like those, though I can't speak for those personally. And there's a reason why I'm so adamant about traveling with a carry-on. One, for most flights, you have to pay a separate fee for a checked bag, and that's for both ways. So I have saved hundreds of dollars by just taking a carry-on, which for some airlines is already included in the price of the ticket. I've also noticed that it's easier to travel around your destination with a carry-on. With a carry-on, you can hop on a public bus, a public train, a subway, a metro with really large suitcases. Sometimes you have no choice but to use an Uber or a private taxi, and 99% of the time, those are way more expensive than just taking the local public transit. Hard pill to swallow number 3. Don't be embarrassed to fly budget airlines. I can probably make a whole other video on budget airlines, which now that I think about it, I probably will. But budget airlines can be a great way to travel often for low cost or budget travelers. For the most part, tickets for low cost carriers do tend to be cheaper than some of the mainline carriers, and especially so if you don't need a lot of the add-ons, such as seat selection or a checked-in bag or snacks or things like that. If you're fine just getting from point A to point B and you don't need a lot of the bells and whistles, then budget airlines are a great alternative. And a lot of people know that. A lot of people see that they can save hundreds of dollars on a round-trip flight flying with one airline than flying the other airline. But I've noticed that a lot of people tend to be embarrassed about flying budget or low-cost carriers, which I understand. We live in a social world. We're not in a vacuum. And I understand that some people may be a little embarrassed or a little shy. But listen, these budget carriers exist for a reason. If they did not have a demand, then they would go out of business. So there are millions of passengers that are flying budget airlines. They are just as safe as mainline carriers, and they still have to abide by all federal and international regulations. So safety is not an issue. Most of the time, what stops most people tends to be the embarrassment. And even if embarrassment is not your thing, look into budget airlines. They don't work for every traveler, but if you are a budget traveler, 9 times out of 10, they'll work for you. Oh, let me not forget and chime in here. When it comes to customer service, budget airlines have a bad reputation for having poor service. But if you really think about it, every airline is going to be criticized for having poor service because people are different. It doesn't matter who you are or what you fly with. You may get on a flight and just have a horrible time, and that is not unique to budget airlines. Hard pill to swallow number 4. You don't need to dine at a fancy restaurant for every meal, nor do you always need to order a cocktail. So I think this pill is pretty self-explanatory. If you want to save a lot of money, food is often one of the biggest factors to a trip's expense outside of transportation, flights, and accommodation. So if you're really looking to save money in that department and then have more cash to take more trips down the road, I really recommend leaning into some of the more casual food places. Street food is known to be really where the best food of a certain destination is, and it tends to be the cheapest. So don't overlook street food. Don't overlook the little mom and pop counter store. Don't overlook those hole in the walls, because not only is it really affordable, and that's where most of the locals will go, they also are some of the best places to eat. Something I do that helps me save a lot of money for the whole food and beverage thing is that I arrive in a new destination, I'll stop at a convenience store, by the hotel or Airbnb, and just get the essentials. So large bottles of water that I'll use to refill my smaller bottle that I'll take around with me. Breakfast bars, cups of noodles, just things that you can keep in the hotel room that you can eat for breakfast. If breakfast is not included in your hotel, things you can just take on the go, snacks that you can keep in your bag for while you're out, things to hold you over in between meals. And again, things that will help you avoid having to sit down at a restaurant every time you feel hungry, and then you come back from your trip and you spend $1,000 or more on dining. Hard pill to swallow number 5. You are not too good to take the bus or train. I hear from so many travelers that they refuse to take public transportation when they travel, and that absolutely baffles me. Why? Public transit is so affordable, like literally, there's really nothing else to explain there. It's so affordable. And not only is it affordable, but it's a pretty good way to experience life in that destination as a local. So when you're on public transit, you're around a lot of people who live in the city, are of the city, and it provides a way different perspective and experience than taking an Uber or a taxi or a van from whatever excursion from point A to point B constantly. Also, when it's safe and feasible, I really like to walk. Walking also provides a different experience when you're in a new place. And it's something about just walking and being in the space that allows you to experience it in a much more immersive way. So I recommend walking. That's free, totally free. Public transit will cost you a little bit more, but definitely nowhere near as much as traveling in private transport the entire time. And lastly, hard pill to swallow number 6. If you didn't experience some local life in your destination, did you really go? All right, I know this is a contentious, hot topic, but for the most part, though there are some exceptions, I am a huge fan of having as much of a local, immersive experience as possible when I'm traveling. Venturing out into local areas, spending time with locals, getting to know them, talk to them, hanging out with them, that is really the epitome of traveling for me, right? To connect with other human beings, get a taste of life in their city, and try to see things from their point of view. Of course, depending on where you go and when you go, this may not be the best idea. It may not always be prudent. It may not always be safe, but when it is safe for you to do so, I highly recommend venturing out into local areas. And a great way to do this is by asking your hotel concierge or your Airbnb host, hey, what are some of your favorite places to hang out here in this city or town or beach or wherever you're located? What are some of your favorite places to hang out? What are some of your favorite local restaurants or bars? What are some different parties or festivals or other events that you like to do for leisure? Where do you hang out in your spare time when you're not working or at home? And if you ask for their personal recommendations, those tend to be a good starting point for where to go and what to do. And there have been many times where I have been connected with friends of friends in destinations that I visited and spent the whole day with them, or even a couple hours over lunch with them. And it absolutely just amplifies my overall experience. That's all I have for you today. 6 hard pills to swallow when it comes to budget traveling. Again, these are all things that I have done myself in the past. These are all pills that have been hard for me to swallow. And by making these adjustments, I've been able to just scale the way I've been able to travel and how frequently, rather, I've been able to travel. And I just want to share this with others because even though it may be a little awkward or jarring to hear at first, if you get outside of your comfort zone and make some of these adjustments, you'll see that your overall concept of traveling changes. If you like this video, please click like, subscribe. If you have not subscribed in the beginning of the video, now's your chance to stop what you're doing. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. It really does help me out here on YouTube. You can also connect with me on Instagram at Roaming with Romie. I'd love to engage with you there. So thanks again, and I'll see you at the next video.